Okay. At this time, I call the Neighborhood Jobs and Housing Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Gruber. Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Vice President Harris.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. So since we have no presentation, we'll get right to it. Councilmember Gruber did reach out. He is on his way. If we complete the legislation before he gets here, I will hold the vote open so that he can vote on these. He can let us know if he wants to vote on the items, but we're going to get to the work now. So, introductory number 130, sale of real estate. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 130, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 131, approving a revised urban renewal plan for the Norton Street urban renewal area. If we could just get the administration to briefly talk about introductory 131 and 132, what we're doing there, it'd be appreciated.
Absolutely. Commissioner Miller, if you could take that one for us.
Absolutely, Deputy Mayor, and thank you. As you know, the urban renewal districts are areas that we're able to define in various parts of the city. This particular district that is on Norton Street was formerly the Silver Stadium. Once the stadium was demolished, the city owned the properties, divided them into separate lots, and we have been marketing the lots ever since that. We've been approached by a user that would like to expand their business on some of these lots. Unfortunately, because of the nature of their business, there are a couple of limitations in the lots, and we are, through this legislation, attempting to address those. The new user is AMR, a company that provides ambulance services for the city, and there are a few things that were not previously allowed in these lots that have to do with vehicles. So vehicle repair, vehicle washing, any kind of fleet management involving vehicles and dispatching, and indoor storage of medical waste are things that were not allowed in the district but would be required for this new use. So we're requesting a change to the current urban renewal district to allow those particular uses so that this new tenant would be able to take the property.
Okay. Will they be going into, is there an existing building in that area that they're going to be going into, or is this going to be a new build?
It'll be both. There is an existing building there that was Premier Sign Company. They are now gone. They will be acquiring that building, and then they'll be building another building next door to that. That would be more of a garage facility.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns, Vice President?
Yeah, that's actually good news that AMR is securing a spot within city limits. It's something they've been working on. Kudos to the administration and the mayor's team to secure that. I'm just curious to know what is the footprint, as far as the square footage and the footprint. You don't have to give it to me now, but if you can give it to me in writing.
Yes, we'd be happy to do that.
Will they occupy most of that area, or is it a portion?
It is just a portion of the area that they'll be occupying.
And will there be a need for any of the residents in that area to have to sign off on anything, or, notification, that type of thing?
No.
Okay, thank you.
President?
Actually, Councilmember or Vice President Harris asked my question around, are they using the entire space? I do have one actually secondary question. So I noticed that it's also additional buildings that are being rezoned, not just the vacant parcels. Is there any reason for that? Does it impact the businesses in any way that exist there?
It doesn't affect those businesses. It's just that the boundaries of the district are fixed. So if we change a portion of the district, we actually have to change the whole district. So it does not cause any issue for the other businesses, one of which happens to be our neighborhood service center, as you know. So.
Yes, great. All right, thank you.
Councilmember Gruber, any questions? No. Councilmember Smith. All right. So I need a motion and a second on introductory
Move
number
it.
131.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 131, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 132, amending the zoning code pertaining to the Norton Street Urban Renewal District. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion
Move
and a
it.
second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 132, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 131, authorizing an appropriation amending the 2024-2025 budget and a loan agreement for 733 Portland Avenue LLC Affordable Rental Project. If the administration could briefly talk about the project.
Yep, and I'll ask Deputy Commissioner Frisch to take that one.
I'd be happy to. Thank you so much. The project involves the full renovation of an existing apartment building at 733 Portland Avenue. Building was built in 1945. There's 33 units in the property, 2 studios, 27 one-bedrooms, and 4 two-bedrooms. The property is planned for a upgrade through the new owners. They've owned the property for a few years now. Total development cost of approximately $6.4 million. Primary source of funding is the New York State Small Business Participation Loan Program, as well as funding through CPC. And the rents for those units will be required to be at or below 65% AMI.
Okay. And I've just been told I need to make a clarification. This is introductory number 133, not 131. We already did 131. Just a comment is that part of the funding that is being provided for this program is coming through council dollars. Mr. President, could you speak to that briefly?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So last year we allocated $1 million towards affordable housing, and we've been slowly chipping away at supporting various projects. So we're excited to be able to jump in here and support this effort. I know that this has been a project we've talked about for some time, so I'm glad to see it come before us and excited to support it.
Yes, Vice President.
Thank you, Chair Patterson. This is actually pretty good. I'm very supportive of this, and I concur with President Melendez. I do have a question. Will the building be ADA compliant?
I don't know that off the top of my head, so let me get back to you in writing.
Okay, and I have another follow-up question is, where will these, like now that there's going to be 33 apartments, is there parking to support the 33 apartments? If you have to put that in writing, that'd be fine too.
We'll do so.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber.
Thanks. Very happy to see this moving forward. Just for clarity, that we're giving $250 as $250,000 loan, and what is the terms? What are the terms of the loan?
This is a 0% interest forgivable loan upon meeting certain conditions, I believe for a term of 30 years.
Is 0% something that we do with regularity?
Well, so occasionally, yes. In this case, the funds were intended to be used as a grant, but funds cannot be provided to the project as a grant, so they're being loaned into the project.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Helpful.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes, so nice project. My question is regarding the 25% that will remain in the building while it is under construction. Has there been a check-in with those residents to make sure that while the construction is happening, they don't have any special needs that will not be met?
We'll talk to the developer and we'll provide a response in writing on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Just question for Mr. President. The source of the funding for that council is providing, what was the original source of that funding?
The original source was underruns in the council budget, largely due to PSA line and PAB funding.
Okay, thank you. Seeing any other questions, comments, or concerns on this item?
Move it.
Yep, motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 133, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 134, Regional Revitalization Partnership Grant Funds, 151 Mount Hope Avenue. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber.
So we've talked about this parcel a lot in my 8-year tenure on council. What are these $2 million going to do? So this site is not currently shovel ready. Is that? I'm assuming this helps us get to shovel ready point.
Yeah, that's correct. So there are some costs associated with primarily geotechnical issues on the site. It's characterized by, urban fill after many decades of variety of uses. This funding would be ultimately passed along to a developer through a competitive solicitation to assist with site preparation costs.
Oh, so we would not do the cleanup ourselves. We would receive this money from RRP, and then once it's confirmed, go out to put out our own RFP and dangle this money as a hope someone does something with it.
That's correct.
Interesting. When's the last time we went out to RFP for this location? I know we've done it in the past.
I can't say specifically when was the last time. We're happy to get back to you in writing, but I know that we have been marketing this site for quite some time, and some of the challenges with the site preparation costs are a hindrance to seeing it redeveloped. So, with this funding, we're confident we'll secure an attractive redevelopment.
Thanks. Is $2 million what? Is there a good reason to think that takes care of all the pre-development work?
We've worked with DES, Division of Environmental Quality, to get a new opinion of probable cost to prepare the site, and we're confident that these dollars will address those issues.
Okay, I think probably my last question. Is there proposed, does NBD have at least the bones of what the RFP is going to look like once this money is confirmed?
Not at this time. However, we would seek development proposals that are consistent with the Rock the Riverway vision to activate the riverfront and bring a mix of uses to the site.
Got it. It's a super important location. I'm obviously preaching to the choir on that one. It would be great to understand in advance of the RFP what sorts of uses the administration is thinking of. I know, again, all this stuff has been mostly kind of hearsay because there's been no action on it, but there have been conversations in years past about, and I think, frankly, in administrations past, about uses for that site that didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, at least to me at the time. So I'd love to understand what the vision is once these dollars come through.
We'd be happy to provide you with a summary.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
Second.
Moved.
Oh.
Okay, as long as we get there. Don't really matter the order. All right, so we've got a motion and a second, and so now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 134, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 135, High Falls Improvement District. High Falls Business Improvement District. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Wait a minute, Councilmember Smith.
Yes, just some curiosity about the board members. Are some of them actual business owners within the district?
I'll let Commissioner Miller respond to that. I believe the answer is yes, but Commissioner.
Yes, there are different business owners on there. It consists of 9 individuals, representative of the area, and business owners and property owners as well. So it's very well represented.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to provide a bit of an update for council, so when last we approved this legislation back earlier this year, it was a bit delayed. The delay was because there were concerns about several things. First being whether the board was fully filled out, an updated website, proper noticing of meetings, and spend down of funds on hand. So happy to report that the board is fully filled out. It consists of, among not only business owners, but 2 representatives from city government, being our chief of staff and our municipal attorney, and also Councilmember Monroe's aide, Mitch Rowe. So pleased to report that I think any of the issues and concerns that we might have had some time ago have been resolved, and that the group is meeting regularly and is quite engaged.
And just a comment, attachment D in the transmittal has a list of all of the board members. So if anyone's interested in that, it's in there, and it does list that there are owners and renters and tenants in that area who are on the board. Any other questions, comments, or concerns on introductory number 135?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 135, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. So now we shift to our other hat, which is the Rural Resolution Review Committee. We don't have, now just to Corporation Council, we don't have to adjourn. Do we have to adjourn the NBD, the NJ whatever committee, and then go into the Rural Resolution Committee?
You should, yes.
Okay, so in that case, then we will. Yeah, Councilmember Gruber, on the first item, we left the vote open to record a vote if you were interested in voting on that item. That was introductory number 130, sale of real estate.
Yes.
Okay, so you're in the affirmative on introductory number 130. Thank you, clerk. All right, so in that case, we are going to now adjourn the NJH committee, and we are going to then go into the Rural Resolution Review Committee. So the NJH committee now stands adjourned, and I call the Rural Resolution Review Committee to order.
Agent Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Agent Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Agent Councilmember Smith. Agent Vice President Harris.
Here.
Agent President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, so the only item we have before us today is a resolution modifying the targeted commercial exterior improvement grant program for the Dewey Driving Park Urban Renewal District. Before we get to anything, as a matter of privilege, I will offer this up to the district council member. Councilmember Monroe, do you have any issues or concerns that you would like to address at this time on this item?
Thank you, Chair Patterson. I would like to thank the administration for going forward to make this move so that we can free up those funds. And as we all know, the big hope here is that we can get Maplewood Books, the old Duke Spinners, back online and rehabilitated. So we'll still have that beautiful historic facade, and we're going a long way towards making that a really nice gateway between Maplewood and the Edgerton neighborhood. So thank you for your work. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Just a comment that I made during the agenda review on this item was that because of the nature of this being rural and it being dollars to be expended, and one of the things that this legislation is doing is that it's taking the cap off, and it allows the potentially one applicant could be selected to expend all of the dollars. My request was that the administration have a plan to go forward to make all of the business owners and all of the property owners in the district aware of the opportunity. Could you address what we kind of had a whole conversation about what I was looking for. Could you address that to a little bit, to some degree right now, please?
Sure, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you, Councilman. Based on your request, we have put together a letter that we'll be sending to all property owners and all business owners. It'll be a certified letter that will be delivered to each of them, making them aware of this change in the funding and giving them the opportunity to let us know if they have any interest in that funding. We still are expecting to be able to use a significant amount of this on the property that was just discussed, the former Maplewood Books. We know that there is a very interested user for that space, so we really like to make sure that that gets redone. And as we know, the big holdup previously was this could only be used for exterior renovations, and it could only be $30,000. That building, unfortunately, needs significantly more than that. So we would certainly hope that there's an opportunity to use the majority of the funding for that.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns on this item? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of the rural resolution number 5, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The resolution passes the committee. With there being no other work before this committee, we now stand adjourned.
Good afternoon. At this time, I will call the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee to order, and I ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Vice President Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot. Councilmember Lupien. Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
We will now move to the business of the committee and introductory number 136, appropriating funds, amending to 2024-25 budget and authorizing an agreement for aging in place pilot. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it. Oops, sorry.
Councilmember Monroe.
Thank you, Vice President Harris. I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit more to the program, specifically the piece with making that connection between seniors and young families.
Yes. The funding was basically to try to address specific housing needs. As we get older, of course, you may need to have a one floor versus a up and down, and trying to match up folks who have specific housing needs. So as you know, younger folks, they want an up and down, and the older folks, they want a ranch style home. So matching those up and helping them find ways to kind of support them in their efforts to maybe switch without using the full market of the real estate process. This pilot will help them negotiate those terms and establish a partnership with the local housing and real estate professionals to support when they make those changes, like switch. They would be able to do that without any deficits to their funds. It's a pilot. I know that it's an outside the box type of thinking and trying to figure out ways that people in our community can age in place. As we know, the city of Rochester, we don't have a large amount of ranch style homes. There's a bunch of homes that's like 2.5 stories. I live in a 2.5 story, and I was just talking to Councilman Gruber about a neighbor who had recently had some medical issues, and he had to make significant modifications to his home to stay home after a major medical incident. But not everybody has those funds or that type of capital. So this is an outside the box way to look at that as a pilot. And the folks over at MBN6 and actually the neighborhood associations in South Wedge pushed forward for this. And I give them kudos for putting this forward, and I support it. If you have any questions, I can try to get additional ones in writing if you have additional ones.
Sure. I would just be interested to find out if they're also even looking at a way that, I don't know, if there's a kind of a mother-in-law type space in the house that, they would share it or something like that. Just wondering if there are other kind of out-of-the-box things that they're considering.
I'll capture that, and I'll get back to you with that, and I'll ask them, what are the different types of models that they're looking at. I think that would be great.
Thank you.
Any additional questions?
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need, motion carries. Introductory number 137, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1,835,000 bonds of said city to finance Maplewood Park Trail Improvement Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. Since the project has been designed, can we get some information on our compliance with our goals, with our MWBE goals? Just take those in writing, obviously.
Yep, in writing.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any additional questions? Need a motion and second.
Move it.
Councilmember Monroe. Sorry about that.
Pardon me. Each item is fairly thick here. So this is just a comment. I know that's something the Maplewood Neighborhood Association has been looking at for a number of years and hoping for is that there's a brick house that has a bathroom in it at the Rose Garden. So as part of this project or some other project to be able to explore reopening those bathrooms so that people using the trail will be able to have a place to stop. and we think that that would be a big benefit to bringing people along in the area.
Councilmember, thanks for that comment. Duly noted, and if there is any context around it from the administration standpoint, we'll be sure to provide that in writing.
Any additional comments or concerns? Need a motion and second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 138, authorizing agreements for the Maplewood Park Trail Improvements Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Need a motion and second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 139, authorizing the grant application agreement related to the New York State Department of State Coastal Rehabilitation Resilience Project Program. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 140, authorizing the grant agreement and the mentoring artist agreement for the public art installation at Brooks Landing. A disclosure, Councilmember Gruber is employed by University of Rochester. He is required to disclose only and can participate in deliberations and vote. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber.
I'm curious about a couple things. This is related to a 2022 professional services agreement. So just trying to understand the lag in dollars. Someone could give me some info on that.
Commissioner or Holly.
Yes, this is the agreement with the artist. Once he started working with his engineers on the engineering around this, it became apparent that it was not properly funded, so we pursued additional funding.
Got it. So this started in 2022 with some dollars that were allocated. It wasn't sufficient, and now we're finishing it off with these additional dollars from ESL.
That's correct, to really cover all the engineering and material costs that really go into involved. Yes.
And what's the logic of using the University of Rochester as the intermediary? Is that just because ESL needs a non-governmental entity to participate, or are they adding value to this project?
I would have to get that answer to you in writing. Yes.
Okay. I'd love to understand what their role is in this and what kind of value they are adding to this project. So anything in writing would be very helpful. Thank you. Otherwise, it looks great, and Sean doesn't let us down, so I'm sure it's going to be wonderful.
Any additional comments? Need a motion and second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 141, authorizing agreement with Genesee Transportation Council. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I do.
Councilmember Gruber?
I'll
No,
defer to the
No, go on.
Okay. Alleyways. Deputy Mayor, what a fortuitous subject matter. I've been talking to the Deputy Mayor about alleyways. One alleyway in particular, but there's a lot of alleyways have come up in my office recently. Can someone explain to me what exactly? So this project that GTC is doing is going to develop a comprehensive catalog of alleyways, re-envision how they function, and develop a plan to use cost-effective, practical strategies to activate these spaces. Is that for every single alleyway, everything that we identify and categorize as an alleyway in every quadrant of the city?
This will include alleyways in all quadrants of the city. We have approximately 9 centerline miles of alleyways with the word alley in the name, and then multiple others that function as alleys. So this will be looking holistically at different applications of things we can do in the different alleyways depending on the circumstances, looking at things around strategies for reducing cut-throughs, better access for residents, connections for bike and pedestrian routes potentially, and just various place-making strategies that will really enhance them and make them more valuable to the community.
That's great. I can't think of a better use of $8,500. That's congratulations to Jim Stack and GTC and the city for putting this together. I just want to add a couple things. I'm going to echo some of the conversations I've had with the Deputy Mayor and with Director St. Alban back there. I think there are alleyways that sometimes get they become dumping grounds. There's a lot of garbage just dumped in alleys because there's no one watching. And even though we occasionally have signs that say, here's going to be a $500 fee for dumping, we don't actually have ways to administer that fee. So I think thinking about the vacuum of enforcement in alleys is an interesting thing to consider, and not just how we activate them, but how we actually just maintain them as places that are safe and not begging for critters to be there. I'll also just add one other thing. I know that a lot of the folks working on the Interloop North project in the Market View Heights neighborhood have brought up the number of alleyways in that neighborhood as a place that they really want to find ways to make them safer. So this is wonderful. I truly mean it. I think it's a godsend that GTC proposed this project. I just want it to be not entirely about activation of spaces, but also about the preservation of clean and safe spaces, because I think there's not every alleyway we can actually activate.
We will be sure to include that in the study. We'll make sure to talk with GTC about that.
Thank you.
Any additional questions, Councilmember Patterson?
So I'm glad you mentioned that there's more than just, there are more alleys than just the alleys that have alley in their name, because as I'm looking at this map, I'm going, there's no way this is inclusive. So it's my hope that we could get a list of everything that isn't out, that has alley in its name and that is in fact used as an alley. And I would also ask that we also look at not just the activation, but the elimination of alleys. One of the things that we've done in the Northeast is that we cut off one of the alleys as a development opportunity. And those are things that we've done across the Northeast over the years. As a previous commissioner used to say, you know, alleys were made for horse-drawn carriages. You know, it's where you brought the horse in the carriage at the end of the day, you know, not necessarily what you need in the modern age. And to some degree that's true, but we also have alleys where I've seen folks that are actively using their alley, that, you know, this is where they put it might not be a horse-drawn carriage, but this is where they put their car, and this is where, you know, they bring all their stuff in, and it's not really, they don't have necessarily a driveway and street access. So as we're looking at this, I would hope that we would be looking at activation and elimination as possible, as needed, where it makes sense.
We'll be sure to include that in the study.
Right. But I would also like, if possible, if we could get a full list for this cycle of all of those alleys and those things that look like alleys that you will be considering in this study, so that we can take a look at that. Because again, I'm looking at this map and it just doesn't feel represented.
We'll provide clarity and give that list to you.
Thank you.
If you can provide it to all of us, please. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. I need a motion in a second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Introductory number one, actually motion carries. Introductory number 142, authorizing an agreement for the Lake Avenue Bridge over CSX Transportation Project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Need a motion in a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 143, authorizing an amendatory agreement for the St. Paul Street Underpass Improvements Projects. Councilmember President Miguel Melendez.
Yes, thank you. Feels like this is the annual appeal for the St. Paul Underpass Bridge. I'd like to understand, this is an amendment to a previous ordinance, looks like. So what is going on with this project at this point, and what are the opportunities to address what seems like a never-ending battle between trucks and the bridge?
We're about ready to enter into construction for limited work on the bridge that includes loading replacements and other enhancements. For the larger issue about the clearances, we are looking very closely at that as a part of our Interloop North design to see how that can be mitigated where possible.
Okay, thank you for that. So with that, I'll move it.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Do it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Introductory number 144, authorizing a grant agreement related to lightning and sidewalk upgrades at the intersection of Brooks Ave and Thurston Road. Any questions, comments, or concern?
Move it.
All
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 145, authorizing agreements and appropriations for the Main Streetscape Phase 3 project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber.
I'm very glad to see these federal highway dollars come through. I'm just curious, when did this project start? Like, when did the conversations with the federal government start on this?
We'd like to respond to you in writing on that. We work, to get these funds over time.
I'm mostly just curious if there's anything out of the ordinary. Holly, in particular, you've obviously done many of these projects. Was there anything out of the ordinary, or is the timeline and kind of when we see these dollars get dispersed business as usual?
Currently, it feels business as usual.
Really happy to hear that. Thank you.
Any additional questions?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 146, a resolution authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance 100% of federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible costs of the Main Streetscape Phase 3 Transportation Federal Aid Project and appropriating funds therefore. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Need motion and second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 147, a local improvement ordinance establishing the cost of special work and services related to Main Street improvements of Downtown Enhancement District for 2025-26. A public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
I have
Need a
a
second?
quick question, sorry.
President Melendez.
Yes, thank you. So, for a while there was a large conversation about downtown business improvement district. I know that we are kind of moved away from that, but we have this enhanced district downtown. And it looks like more or less year over year, it's more or less the same plan. I wondered if there's been conversations about other ways the downtown enhancement district could be helpful to economic development downtown. I know that this is largely streetscape type stuff and beautification, et cetera, but is there ongoing conversations between the administration and what I presume is a downtown enhancement board that's happening, and could we be privy to how that's going?
So happy to respond to that in writing. I would just tell you that for the upcoming year, what's contemplated is really a focus on beautification. So there are 85 planters in the district. Don't ask me how I know that. I lead an exciting life between that and alleys. But focus is on keeping those planted, weeded, keeping trash picked up, and sidewalks swept, and all those things. But certainly, with regard to your question, happy to give a response in writing.
Thank you. And in that response, before I second this, I would also hope to contemplate if those conversations around economic development are not happening, could we start having those conversations moving forward in terms of what else could a downtown enhancement district potentially fund with respect to economic development? Noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll second.
Did he get a motion already?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 148, authorizing an agreement for drinking water laboratory services for Cobb's Hill and Highland Reservoirs. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 149, authorizing an agreement for drinking water quality laboratory services. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 150, authorizing an agreement for wastewater analysis. Questions, comments, or concerns? Need a motion and second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 151, authorizing the agreement for non-hazardous special solid waste disposal services. Questions, comments, concerns?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 152, authorizing a mandatory agreement for compost pilot program services. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember President Melendez.
Yes, thank you, Vice President. One of the questions I had pertaining to the item was, and a lot of the questions were answered in legislation review in terms of the participants now and the expansion potentially of the program. But I do want to get a sense of where are we to scale in terms of after this pilot, are we looking at opportunities to do this in a more robust way, or what is that looking like today?
Commissioner?
So after this pilot, we're looking to expand to the northeast quadrant. That's our preferred destination. We're looking at that area, and then that'll be all 4 quadrants we'll effectively have covered. Beyond that, we don't have a robust plan for otherwise further expansion at this point. But all 4 quadrants will be covered after this pilot is covered.
Got it. Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a study ongoing currently about the expansion of the program. Am I right about that? So or maybe it's not the expansion of the program, but there's a solid waste study happening at the moment. So what's the timeline for that being completed?
Yes, we have an organics management plan that we're currently working on. We have a draft plan. I think the schedule will be that it will be completed by the fourth quarter of this year, likely earlier. So that will incorporate potential additional food waste reduction strategies.
In the fourth quarter of this year?
The upcoming fiscal year.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would just state, and kind of echoing President Melendez's question in some ways. I mean, this is a program that it's popular and it's working, and at some point, if we want to make it grow, we're just gonna have to put some money behind it. And I'm sure that was a similar conversation had in the late 80s, early 90s about recycling. But I think we're creeping towards that point. I drop off my compost pretty regularly at Cobb's Hill, and there is always a ton of people there. I'm sure Ann and Karen can tell us the numbers of how many emissions what we've diverted from the landfill. It's working, and we've been piloting it for. I know I'm preaching to the choir. We've been piloting it for. It's no longer a pilot. It's been 5 years at this point, right? Pretty close to 5 years. So I'm just hoping that at some point, and maybe the study is the thing that that triggers this, we just acknowledge it's working. Let's put some real investment behind it. But I'll wait till the study to say that again. Thank you.
Any additional questions? I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 153, authorizing the mandatory agreement for on-call therapist services for the Department of Recreation and Human Services. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
I don't have it's just one moment. Sorry.
153.
Yeah.
153.
Did I miss something?
Okay. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's me. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 154, authorizing a mandatory agreement for team building, culture, and climate consulting services. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 155, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement to support recreation and positive youth development programming. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 156, authorizing an agreement for the Stop the Violence Against Women Act grant program. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 157, authorizing the agreement for an amending the 2024-25 budget related to New York statewide investment in more swimming grant. Just a comment, this is a great legislation. I'm just really happy to see that we're doing this, and just thank you to the administration for this. Any additional comments, questions?
Question.
Councilmember Patterson.
Why are we having consistently, and it's not just us, it seems to be across the country, we have a hard time finding lifeguards? What is the problem? Is it just kids just don't want to swim? What is the issue? Please help us understand.
So I can't tell you what the problem is, but what I can tell you what we're doing.
Okay.
So this year, because of this grant, we were able to have a lifeguard development program led by Eric and his team, which allows us to get lifeguards prepared for this summer. As you know, we want to increase the number of lifeguards so we have all of our pools available. And so this grant allowed us to have that lifeguard development program. Eric, can you tell us how many you had in that program?
Good afternoon. Right now we have 10 youth that graduated and 3 that are taking a test in May.
Okay. So I am a self-avowed filthy capitalist pig. So I have to ask, what are we paying lifeguards?
I can't tell you the exact salary, but we did increase it 2 years ago, and we are at a very comparable salary for our lifeguards.
Well,
we can get the exact dollar amount to you, but we are very comparable.
I humbly submit as a capitalist that if we can't find them, there may well be a shortage, and that we may well want to significantly increase our pay, such that we make it difficult for other people to find lifeguards, as opposed to us having a difficulty finding lifeguards. What's our lifeguard season? Like, when do we start? When do we hire them, and when do we fire them? How long do they work?
We have swimming year round in our indoor pools at Jackson and Adams.
Okay.
And then we increase the number because we open up GVP and the Durand Beach, as well as possibly Avenue D and Lightfoot.
Okay.
And so as we come into the summer months, we need additional lifeguards because we open up outside areas.
Okay. Okay. Well, and if you can also get us the number of lifeguards, what that variation is by season, that would be useful also. And I think we just need to we raise the pay till the problem goes away. I know that sounds kind of horrible, but this isn't, we aren't hiring hundreds of lifeguards at a time, obviously.
We'll get that information to you.
All right, thank you.
Any additional questions? Need a motion and a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Introductory number 158, authorizing the mandatory agreement relating to on-call therapist services for animal service personnel. Questions, comments, concerns? Need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introductory number 159, amending local improvement ordinance number 1827 pertaining to the care and embellishment of street malls for 25-26. Public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 15, 2025 at 6 p.m. And I'll take the privilege to make a comment. I'm glad you guys included Huntington Park into this. Are there additional malls that needs additional maintenance in the city that we haven't captured? I think about like maybe Central Park or some of the other ones on the east side.
There are a number of malls that do not participate in the care and embellishment program. It's a voluntary program, so the budget that is developed by each mall association gets appropriated across all the properties benefited. So there are a number of malls, Central Park, Lakeview, Seneca Parkway, they don't participate.
Okay.
There's currently 8 street malls that participate in the program currently.
Thank you. Any additional questions, comments? Need a motion and a second?
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And with no further business, the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee stands adjourned. Have a good afternoon.